Welcome to The Explainer. The relationship we have with our parents, it's one of the most defining parts of who we are, right? So today, we're going to dive deep into the profound Islamic teachings on how to build that bond on a foundation of harmony, respect, and just real love.
All right, let's start right at the very foundation. This is a direct command from the Quran, and I want you to really pay attention to the order here. Think about it. The number one principle in Islam is worshiping God alone. And what comes immediately after that? Good treatment of parents. It's not just a nice suggestion, it's a divine decree. And it gets so specific that it even forbids you from saying oof, that little sigh of frustration. That's how detailed and important this is. So you gotta ask, why? Why is this relationship given such a high status? Well, that's exactly what we're going to get into in this first part, a sacred commandment. So the Islamic term for this is birrul walidain. And look, this isn't just about being polite or saying please and thank you. It's way deeper. It's like a whole code of conduct that covers everything, what we say, what we do, even what we're thinking, all designed to create this relationship of genuine respect and care. And what's really amazing, what's so profound, is how often the Quran makes this connection. You'll see it over and over again. Worship God, and then bam, right after it, and be good to your parents. That's not a coincidence, you guys. It's put there on purpose to show us just how spiritually massive this responsibility is. And this teaching from the Prophet Muhammad, wow, it just makes it crystal clear. He said, the pleasure of Allah is in the pleasure of the parents. It's almost like a spiritual equation, right? If you make your parents happy, you're on a direct path to making God happy. Their contentment with you it's literally a key that unlocks divine favor. It's that direct. Okay, so that's the why. But what about the how? How do we take this huge, sacred idea and actually live it out day to day? Well, that brings us to our next section, the art of respect. And here's the thing, respect is all in the little details. It's not just about, not having a huge shouting match, look at this list. It's about the small stuff, like making a conscious effort to lower your voice when you speak to them, using respectful titles like mom and dad or mother and father instead of just calling them by their first names. It's about always choosing kind words over harsh ones. And respect isn't just about what you say. It's about what you do. It's shown through your actions. Simple things, right? Like letting them walk in front of you or waiting for them to sit down before you do. These are powerful physical signs of honor. But maybe the biggest one of all is taking care of them when they're older with that same tenderness they showed us when we couldn't do anything for ourselves.
Okay, but let's be real. What happens when what your parents want and what God wants are two different things? That's a super important question, and it brings us right to our next topic, the limits of obedience.
I mean, this is a tough spot that a lot of us might find ourselves in, right? When a parent asks for something that goes against your faith. The good news is, Islamic teachings give us a really clear, really balanced way to handle it.
The number one rule is simple, and it's non-negotiable. Your loyalty to God comes first, always. So if a parent asks you to do something that's against Islamic principles, say to lie or to cheat or to skip a religious duty, you don't obey that command.
But, and this is a huge but, this is where the beautiful balance comes in. The Quran says, yes, don't obey them in that specific thing, but immediately follows it up with accompany them in this world with kindness. Get it? You can say no to the request, but you must still treat the person, your parent, with total love and respect. Disobeying a wrong command never, ever gives you a license to be disrespectful. Okay, so both parents are incredibly important. We've established that. But Islamic tradition gives one of them, a uniquely special status. And that's the mother. Just look at this number on the screen. 3. I want you to just hold that number in your head for a second, because it's at the heart of one of the most famous and powerful teachings from the Prophet Muhammad about who we should give our absolute best to. So check out this incredible conversation. A man comes to the Prophet and asks, who deserves my best companionship? The Prophet says, your mother. The man asks again, okay, then who? Your mother. He asks a third time, and then who? Your mother. It's only on the fourth time that the Prophet says, then your father. That is so powerful. It basically sets up this 3-to-1 ratio of honor and kindness, all in favor of the mother. So why? Why this incredible emphasis? Well, it's a direct recognition of the unique struggles of being a mom. Think about it, the hardship of pregnancy, the pain of childbirth, all those sleepless nights nursing and caring for a baby. These are sacrifices she makes that are just on another level. And for that, she gets this special elevated status. So, what about after our parents have passed away? Does this all just end? Not at all. This sacred duty just changes form. And that brings us to our final section, devotion beyond a lifetime. A lot of us might feel like once our parents are gone, that's it. The chance to serve them is over. But the beautiful thing about the Islamic tradition is that the answer is a firm, comforting no. The doors to honoring them are still very much open. There are so many ways you can continue to be a source of good for them. First, you can pray for them, ask for their forgiveness. This can literally elevate their status in the next life. You can also fulfill promises they made or give charity in their name. And this one is huge. Keep in touch with their friends and family. Honoring the people they loved is a way of continuing to honor them. And let's wrap up with this really powerful and honestly sobering reminder from the Prophet. He basically said that a person who has parents in their old age and doesn't serve them and enter paradise because of it is wretched. Think about that. It frames having elderly parents not as a burden, but as an open door to paradise. And to miss that opportunity, it's just a huge, huge loss. So that leaves us with one final thought. Honoring our parents doesn't have to be some grand, huge gesture. It can start right now, today, with one small, simple act. Maybe it's a kind word, a quick phone call, a small favor, or just a sincere prayer for them. So the question is, what's your one small thing gonna be?